So, what is going on, everyone? If you don't know who I am, my name is Justin. I'm the operations guy at Cervicide. I don't really do a title, but I do a lot of stuff here. And we're going to do this webinar on, it's in meeting form, but we're going to do this webinar on a hunt link breakdown. We're going to go into detail probably at the end of specifics for hunt links. But to start out, I want to break down the pricing. What does it cost? You know, what does everything cost, from licensing to grabbing beer at the bar to leaving a tip when you out to dinner to putting gas in the boat. You name it. We're going to go through it. Obviously quickly, and then I'm going to show you guys what it would be. If you were to do it yourself, and this doesn't even account if it was a guide, if it was a guided hunt. Obviously, everyone knows that can be upwards to cheap ones are a couple $100, 300, 400, $500. Expensive ones can be upwards to, thousands of dollars. Even when you get up to Alaska, Canada, tens of thousands of dollars. So I'm going to show you guys how I am able to go on all these trips. Middle class budget, family, so wife, infant kid, mortgage, the bills, vehicle payment, the whole 9 yards. So that's kind of the perspective there. Just to give you guys an idea, I don't, I'm definitely not a trust fund baby or anything. I don't go on all these luxurious trips just from money sitting in my bank account. I definitely budget them out and try to do what I can to go on all these trips. The great thing about Cervicide is literally you just meet somebody and you can go on these trips. I mean, that's literally step one into doing these hunt links. But we're going to jump right into it here as far as pricing. Like I said, if I cut out or you guys have questions, just let me know. I'll try to periodically check this chat bar, but feel free to jump in. That's why I wanted it in this setting, in case people had questions. So let's start off with why Minnesota? Why going on a waterfowl hunt? So I don't waterfowl hunt. I've never been a waterfowl hunter. Bow, deer, hogs, turkey, squirrel, all that stuff, but never really got into waterfowl until actually the last couple years. It started off with me going with a couple of the members down in Florida, and it kind of transformed into me wanting to kind of do my own thing. I like meeting up with people and I like getting groups together. I love doing that stuff, but I also like some me time, just me going out and hunting. So I would kind of just get to know everyone in the club over the last couple years. Many of you guys know I was a field staffer for 4 years myself before I started working here. I've been here almost 2 years now. And, there's a lot of y'all that have been in here a long time. I see a lot of familiar faces now of people that have been in Cervicide since the beginning, people that have been in Cervicide for a few years, and then people that have just joined yesterday. So it's a little bit of everyone. But what I do is, you guys already know how it is. I've spoken to every person that's on this chat. At least some point in time, we've had a personal conversation, and that's how it starts. That's the fuel to the fire there. So when you chat and you get to know each other and you kind of click is the best way to put it. You already know. Everyone here knows what it's like when you click with someone that you like. You become great friends or, great hunting buddies or, whatever. So Greg Haglin is a member. He's been in since about 2017. We've talked on and off for a long time. We've done the, hey, I want to come up there. Sure, let's make it happen. We've done that for a few years. Everyone in here knows that song and dance of we'll go, we'll go, we'll go. And then we were finally able to make it happen. The reason we were able to pull the trigger on this was because of the cheap ticket that came across my email. So tickets were pretty expensive. They were upwards $700, $800, some of them were even $900 towards the end. And this is with me looking like a year in advance. Okay. So I usually look at my flights a year in advance, anywhere 8 months to a year in advance. This one was a year in advance and they were still, outrageously priced. And I was like, obviously, if I'm going to spend $700, $800, $900 on a flight, I better be going to Alaska, Russia, overseas somewhere. I'm personally not going to pay that type of money to fly within the US. You can drive there for almost that price with a rental car. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna hold out. We're gonna, and this is an important. I'll dive more into it now, but I set an alert. And once that flight was cheap enough, and I was like, wow, okay, I can afford this. Let's try to make it happen. So let's start at the beginning here. Um, we talked about meeting people. So obviously everyone should know if you're transactional with this. I'm being honest with you, team. Like I've done over 20 of these. I've met, at least 30 to 40 people in the club personally. And it doesn't always work when you say, hey, Jason, I want to hunt with you and you want to hunt with me. And then it just happens. It doesn't happen that way. Sometimes it might happen that way. So I won't 100% say that, but 99% of the time it doesn't really happen that way. Some people that are on the chat right now, I know that I've done hunt links. They will be the first one to attest to this. There are sometimes worries, anxieties, things like that, obviously on both parties. So you got to get to know the person. That's huge. Make sure you click, and then obviously make sure you continue to reach out. So, I've talked to a lot of people that have said, hey, I reach out to so and so and they never hit me up. Everyone here, I'm sure, can raise their hand and say, hey, how many times we looked at a message and glanced over it? I do it every single day. I actually have a calendar set for me to go back and check my text and messages because I want to make sure that no one on the team gets left behind or whatever. I actually set it for usually like 11 days after to make sure that I can check it. But what's up, Josh? But yeah, so that is what I personally do. Let's see here. So get to know the person, and then let's talk about the hunt. Okay. So once you've established contact, you guys are talking, you're messaging each other, you're texting, or you're commenting, or however you're communicating with, and that's becoming a regular thing. And you're really starting to start ironing out details like, okay, when are you thinking of coming? Okay, this is what prices are, things like that. This is when we really start. The first thing that I recommend everyone should do is check the tag prices and check the airline prices. In my opinion, just all the ones I've been on, from my first one where I didn't do anything quote unquote right. I mean, there's no right or wrong, but I would say efficiently, to how I am now, where literally it's like I'll plan a trip a couple days before, if the money's there. But so those are some of the first things is check the ticket pricing and check the tag pricing. Why? Why do you do this? I'm going to tell you guys. Budgets. If you're on budget, if you've got, most of this webinar isn't going to really matter if you have a disposable income. If you have a disposable income, you're like, hey, whatever, I've got this money there for whatever odd reason and I can spend it. This really doesn't pertain to most of y'all, except for the part of the logistics and things like that. So those are two things that you're going to want to check, is those tag prices, airline prices, just to make sure you don't put yourself in a bad situation. If you spend hundreds of dollars on a flight and you really can't afford that, it's going to lack on other things. It's going to lack on maybe your gear. There's a lot of other expenses we're going to jump into that covers this stuff, as far as eating and all that stuff. And I even broke it down where if you don't go out and drink beer, if you don't go out to eat, if you just buy groceries from the store, there's not too much of a difference. There's like $100 and some odd dollar difference if you were to really pinch pennies there. So those are the first two things that you're going to want to do. Check those prices. If they're within your budget and you're able to do it, that's step one. Then you can start locking in that date. So this is very important. This is going to fall under logistics, okay? And if I'm going too fast, everyone just please let me know to slow down or whatever. Everyone that's just joined us, we're just jumping in. All we've really done is the beginning is getting to know them. Check your ticket prices, check your tag prices. And when I say check your tag prices, really check your tag prices. Don't just Google how much are hunting tags in Montana. Make sure you look and obviously ask the person that you're going with, do I need a WMA stamp? There was something I got, a pheasant conservation $3 like stamp thingy. Like you got to make sure that you're getting everything. Once that's all good, we'll move on to this next step. So it's going to be logistics. So there's two options here. I'm going to tell y'all what I did, and I'm going to tell you what the other option would be. So I got to know Greg because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'd rather stay with somebody than stay in a hotel. I would rather have the full experience. That's just me. Some people like hotels. I've been places where we've camped outside, slept on the back of my truck. I've done it all. I've even done hammocks and sleeping on the ground, all that. But I will say I always enjoy going to their house because, for one, we get to cook, we get to relax. You're in a controlled environment. So, we can have a cigar, we can have a little bit of bourbon or whatever we want to do. And we're just in a nice, and instead of being like, hey, you got to take me to the hotel or whatever. Some people like hotels. If you do, it's cool. I've got those prices. They're awesome. But got to know Greg really well. And I asked him, I'm like, would you like me to get a hotel? Or can I stay at your house? I just usually just come out and ask. There's only two options, so it's not too bad. I've even done it where, this is just jumping down a rabbit hole. I've even done it where they've had a camper on their property and they're like, hey, you want to stay in the camper? I'm like, yeah, sure. Campers are comfortable for me. So I stayed at Greg's house. That saved me. So I looked up the prices for where I was actually at. The cheapest hotel was $53 a night. So it would have been $172 for when I was there. The most expensive one was about $600 for the whole time. That's $178 a night. So I saved, on the low end, I saved $170 just by staying at Greg's house. Now, that's not always going to happen. I've stayed at hotels. You just try to get the cheaper one. That's what I do. I check for bed bugs. So that's usually what I do. But I stayed at his house, and that saved me on that. Real quick, I'm just going to backtrack real quick. Something I wanted to mention was, what type of hunting was I doing? So I was hunting from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I was hunting for 4 full days. So 4 from morning to night, 4 full days. One day was obviously the travel the night before. I left on a on a Friday evening after work. So I took no vacation time for Friday, worked a full day, left that evening, got there that night. Greg picked me up, and then we hunted those 4 days. What we were targeting was waterfowl, pheasant, small game. Just throwing that out there. It was something I didn't mention in the beginning. And remember, a 4-day hunt. Let's see here. So I stayed at Greg's house. Now we got to think about travel. So Greg lived an hour from the closest airport, which was Fargo, North Dakota. These are things you have to figure out ahead of time. If you can figure out these things ahead of time, I promise you, every hunt link I've been on, especially over the more recent years, it's not stressful. You're not anxious. You're not dropping the ball. None of that stuff. So what we did was, I asked them. That's another thing you have to ask, because you got to remember, you're kind of a guest. That's the way I look at it. You're kind of a guest in someone's home. So I like to ask them as far as sleeping at their house and then the travel. Those are the two important things, because you have to get where you're going, and then you have to sleep at night. It's 3 things we need: shelter, sleep, and food. So I asked Greg, hey man, I'll give you gas, we'll split gas. Whatever decision you want to make when it comes to traveling, when it comes to gas, that's what I did. I was like, do you want to come pick me up? Do you want me to get a rental car? He was like, hey, I'll come get you. Give me gas money, whatever. So that was cool. We did that, which I'll give everyone the full price. And I just want to break through this. Now, with that being said, I looked up rental cars. Okay. So cheapest one, $32 a day, $114 for the time I would be there. $119 a day on the high end if you want a 4-wheel drive, $422 for the time I was going to be there. So on the high end, save $420. On the low end, save $114. We've only talked about hotels. We've only talked about vehicles. Okay. We're already at, on the low end, saving $200-300 ish. On the high end, saving, if you like high end hotels, high end vehicles, whatever, you're looking at more of like the $600-$800 range. So we're already almost to $1,000 in savings just by 2 logistical items of travel and that. Now, not every time can they come get you. Maybe their car's in the shop. The wife or the husband's got to take it to to town to work. Not every situation is 100% ideal where I've gotten rental cars at places and I've rode with them. I even did a hunt link where the person I was with had an extra vehicle and had to work one day. I was like, just take the vehicle or whatever. He literally called his insurance, like, Justin's going to be on my insurance for a day. They didn't even charge him anything. It was pretty cool. So logistics. So definitely figure out that transportation issue. You got to figure out how far that airport is. If it's right down the street, you can Uber, you can taxi, you can figure out all that stuff. If you got a family member there, see if they can pick you up, whatever. But make sure those are some things covered. So we've talked about getting to know the person, which is always step one, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to go to someone's house that I don't know. I mean, we won't get into it, but they said most of your serial killers are pretty cool people in real life. So I would definitely, get to know everyone. Now we've talked about meeting people. We've talked about the tags and airline prices. We've talked about the logistics, so travel, lodging. Now let's talk about food. Hang on one second. I got a question here. Okay, so Aaron said another thing would be make sure you can get tags that year you're planning on going, or find out when you're able to draw the tag. I know Iowa has a minimum of 2 years to draw. Yes, exactly. So Aaron, that's a great point. That's another reason why you need to network with your we'll just call it better half for right now, the person that you're going to be getting with to go do this hunt link. But make sure that you figure those things out, because I have seen people get together like in little groups and go to another state and they weren't hunting the right spot and they did get the wrong tags. And luckily the game warden was really cool and was like, hey, you got the wrong tags, blah, blah, blah. Nothing was killed. So there was no bloodshed or anything like that. But could have been a bad situation. It was actually a couple of guys in Cervicide, not too crazy where they'd get penalties and things like that, but it's definitely a no and something you want to avoid, especially as an out of towner. So let's see here. So logistics of food. So believe it or not, food was the most expensive thing. I'm huge. I like to eat. And also I like to buy a dinner. Now with this food, if you just pay for yourself and the person pays for them, I've done that. What do they call it? Going Dutch or whatever, where they pay for theirs. We 50% the drinks, we 50% everything we do. I've literally done that even with parking at the boat launch. We just split the fee, or one person gets Red Bulls that morning while the other person gets, the parking fee. But those are two options. You're either going to split things with food or you're going to, whatever. So I always like to buy a dinner. I always like to take us out and buy us some drinks if the person does enjoy a drink. So that is included with this. Now, if you don't do that, it's going to be it's almost about $100 difference. So with this trip, it was about $100 difference. And then also every hunt link I do, now y'all don't have to do this. This is just something I do because I've done like so many, and it's just, I have a lot of history with these. I was a member. Don't know if a lot of y'all know, but my dad had passed away. I was having a hard time. And I joined Cervicide to travel and like do new things. It was something my dad really wanted to do before he had passed. So I was like, hey, I'll do it. Talked to a Cervicide guy, got in. The rest is history. Here I am. So that's going to cover pretty much what it's going to cost. So we have the logistical part, which includes your flight, which includes your obviously the vehicle travel, the tags, the food. Now let's talk about what everything costs. That was just a quick little outline of what everything is. Let's talk about these logistics. So I spent $150 on my flight. That was round trip. These flights were not that cheap. I like I said, something that I like to do is I like to set alerts. So whether you look on Expedia or Priceline, or there's a million of them. I mean, you every day it seems like a new sponsored one. And I just one night when you're sitting there, just go through it, look at those flights, see which ones are the cheapest, and set alerts. If you set alerts, they're going to email you when those prices drop. That's what I did. Got an email, literally was like 12 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock at night, and it was $150. I bought it right then and there and was like, Greg, I really hope you're available this weekend, because I just was not going to turn down a $150 ticket when I'd been watching them be so much. So with that flight, it was $150. Luggage. So 2 options here. I've done both. You can either use a weapon that they have if they're willing, if they have extra, whatever, or you can bring your own. I do a variety of both. This weekend, I'm using someone, my girlfriend's uncle actually doesn't live too far away. He's a goose hunter. I'm going to go borrow one of his shotguns, shoot it a little bit the day before, whatever. That's going to save me some money. Now, this trip, I wanted to take my shotgun. So they don't charge you any extra for taking weapons, but it is expensive. When it comes to luggage, they kind of get you. I think this is just my personal opinion. I'm not here to get political or anything. I just think that the reason it went up is because the airlines lost so much money during the pandemic, and they're really trying to get that money back because bags, you can literally sit there and they'll change the price right in front of you. I flew the cheapest flight, which was Frontier to that area. And it was $100 to get my shotgun there, just my shotgun. To get it there and to get it back. It was 50 there, it was 50 back. That was because I bought it online a year in advance. When I was at the airport, it was $100. It was $97, it was $100. One way. It was $100 one way. So it would have been $200. So planning it in advance, spending the $50, you can only bring like 11 pounds of ammo. So what I did was I said, hey, Greg, what's the prices looking like for ammo? He was like, this is what it's looking like. I was like, well, I don't want to pay the extra weight fee because it's literally like you're over a pound. It's like an extra $50 or something. It's really outrageous. So you got to make sure your weights are on. So I literally was like, well, what are the prices there? I got a bunch of boxes of shells. It was $42. So instead of me flying and risking paying 50 plus extra dollars and having to buy the shells, so it would have been the shell price plus the getting it there fee, it would have cost me almost $90 to get shells there. Instead, he got me some shells. It was $42. Now let's talk about gas. So luggage was $100. That's where we're at. Just quick little jot it down if you're keeping track of the numbers here. $150 for the flight, $100 for the luggage. Now, with that luggage, some airlines, like American Airlines, for example, I love them, but they're freaking expensive. You can have a big book bag. And when I say book bag, I'm talking like your backpack in like Europe. You can have a big book bag. You can usually have a personal item, which is usually your laptop bag or a smaller bag, satchel, purse, whatever. And you can have another bag. So like I take a duffel bag usually and I cram it with all my warm clothes and stuff. So you can physically take 3 items with some of them and it's the same price. And then if you want to check your bag, obviously it's 40 or $50. The flight that I did was a cheaper flight, so they did not have that. So you have to put it on a book bag. Y'all that have flown know, like I said, if you got the disposable income and you just want to pay to not deal with it, I'll be honest with you, on the way back, I paid a little extra because I was like, I don't want to carry my book bag. I had like an 8-hour layover on a red eye. And I was like, I'm not trying to carry this bag. All my clothes are stinking in it. I've been there 4 days out in the wilderness. But that's what we're looking at as far as luggage. So make sure you look at that because they will get you. They sneak attack you. For everyone that's never been on an airline, I hate to say it, but you don't want to get there and then be like, oh yeah, your bag's $100 one way. Cause I don't care who you are, paying $200 to get a bag there and back is just, with just clothes is kind of rough there. So definitely check on those airline bag fees. If you can try to cram your stuff in it. I even at some point has thought of, I've thought of mailing clothes, but I've actually mailed waders because it was cheaper for me to mail the waders there than to pack them in the bag. So definitely check that. So we're at $100 for that, 150 for the flight. Let's talk about gas. So like I said, you can split gas, whatever you want to do. I've just been on enough that if they're letting me stay at their home, they're letting me eat their food, they're letting me sit on their couch, take a shower in their house, I like to cover gas. It's just something I like to do. So I put gas, I filled up his truck. He had a Toyota, and I put some gas in the boat. So it ended up being $90 is what I spent on gas. Now that was optional. He literally was like, don't worry about it. I got it. We can do 50-50. I'm like, nah, man, like it's your boat. You're putting your wear and tear on your vehicle. You took time out of your day to come pick me up from the airport, an hour one way or an hour there and an hour back. So it's a 2-hour drive, that's 4 hours of his life. He pretty much dedicated to me to come pick me up and stuff so that I didn't have to get a rental car. So $90 is what I give him for gas. So with logistics all together, we're looking at $340. Okay. So that's literally covering your $340 is covering your flight. It's covering if you're providing money for gas, and it's providing that luggage fee to get your stuff there. Now, this is if you network. This is if you communicate, you get to know each other. This is the perspective that I'm giving it to everyone in, is if you take advantage of the Cervicide program and you get to this level with the person and things like that, that's what the price can be. $42 for the ammo. Let's talk about time off from work. This is something that's super important. And if I'm jumping around, everyone, just let me know. I just want to make sure I cover everything. Time off from work, obviously, unless you're self-employed or unemployed, or you just don't have to work. Most of us have to take vacation time. I used 1 day of vacation. I did sacrifice. I could have used 2. I probably should have used 2, but I just was like, screw it. I'll just stay up all night. And that's what I did. So I flew the red eye on Friday night so that I could get there on time, before we needed to be out that morning to hunt. You don't have to do that. You can use a couple of vacation days. I just wanted to use 1 because, I work just like everybody else, Monday through Friday. I get Saturday and Sunday off. So I took a Saturday, Sunday, Monday is what I took. And I came back on a Monday. Now let's talk about this. This is something that a lot of people, and a lot of this stuff is going to be me saying things like that you might not think about. We all think about the flight because you got to get there. We all think about you need to get your gear there. We all think about you got to fill your belly. You got to sleep in a bed. But these are things we don't think about, like parking. I normally take my truck to the airport. Like I told everyone before, I do have a credit card that I specifically put my HuntLink trips on. I pay it off. This trip is going to cost me $48 a month. So if I make $48 for the next 12 months and I pay that on my credit card, I will obviously could afford this trip. I like to pay it off quicker. Before interest hits, obviously make sure your card's interest. I don't want no one getting hit with like 25% or whatever. I have low interest on my card, so it doesn't hit me. But parking, I drove there and parked. Now, I actually got trapped in Minnesota for an extra day because of a snowstorm. So with this price, it actually includes me being trapped for an extra day. So my parking was a little expensive. It was $120. If I wouldn't have been trapped, it would have been $96. But that can be avoided if you want to get your wife or husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, kids, whatever, to drop you off. That's going to save you about $100 in most places. Most places have the same parking, $20 a day or whatever. 2020. I think this one was $24 a day. But make sure you cover that parking, because if you get to the airport and you want to leave your car because your wife has to work or get the kids to school or whatever, and you're coming back on a Monday, that's going to really stink if you get trapped at the airport or whatever. So unless you live in a town where you can Uber, I live in a town where I could have just Ubered, but that does cost some money too. I think it's like $30 or $40 to get to the airport. But that's going to save you guys some money too. So always weigh out your options. Do I want to drive there and spend the extra money, or do I not? If you don't, it's going to save you $100, that parking. Get somebody to drop you off. Let's talk about the licenses. So I got small game license, pheasant, waterfowl. We could do any type, coyote, squirrel, beaver, any of your small grouse, anything like that. I did the whole small game package with the pheasant tag. It was $76. I did a 72-hour license. Okay, so that's what is that, 3 days? I did the 3-day license, and then what we did was on the last day, I hit them with the 24-hour license. So they have a 24, they have a 72, they had a 10-dayer, and they had a year one. I was like, what we'll do is we'll hunt. One of the days I wanted to film, so I was like, well, you can buy the license right from your phone. You can literally go on the app. I think it took me about 15. While he was cooking dinner one night, I was sitting at the counter and got my license the first night we got there. Literally, it was like maybe like 11, 12 at night. So it was $76 for my license. So we're at $340 in logistics, $42 in ammo. If you have parking, throw $100 on there. If you don't need to add that up. License was $76. I already had my waterfowl stamp, so I didn't include that. If you need to I get mine yearly. I get it every July or something. I think it is. It's automatic, comes out of my card or whatever. If you don't, you're gonna have to get the waterfowl stamp. Don't quote me on this. I can't remember what it is. If anyone knows, jump in. It's just not much, 12 or $20, something like that. I don't think it's much. But make sure you got that stamp. You have to have that to hunt waterfowl anywhere in the country. Okay, so we got license. Let's talk about food. Now with this food, okay, so it was $191 is what I spent on food. Now that's 4 days. Now that includes Red Bulls, that includes beef jerky from the gas station, that includes chips, that includes I ate twice at the airport just because I was like, I got to eat before I get there. So I ate twice at the airport. That's expensive. I bought us pizza one night. There was $50. I took us out for drinks and dinner. That was $80. It was almost $20 each time you eat at the airport. So $191 is covered. Now, with that $191 though, that's me being, let's just say I wasn't tight with it, is the best way to put it. If you're tight and you want to save money and you want to pack you some peanut butter sandwiches and you want to go get some crackers and sardines or potted meat or whatever, do it. I've done it. You can save a ton of money. You can save the $191 if you go to the store. I've went to Hunt Links where I went to the store the first day, bought me some groceries like a little quart of milk, some a little box of cereal, some oatmeal, some jerky, things like that. If you want to pinch pennies, that's a good way to do it. But I just pretty much was like, whatever, man. I want to have a drink at the airport while I eat my sandwich. I want to go out for drinks one night at a local bar, have a hot dinner from someone else cooking it, not us, and doing dishes and stuff. So $191, and that's me being not cheap with it. So you can definitely save on the food if you pinch pennies. If you're not really too worried about that. Now we did eat dinner pretty much. So we ate dinner 2 nights out of the 4 nights that I was there. Greg cooked one night. We had like it was almost like a Spanish quesadilla thing. And then another night we had, I don't even remember what it was. I think we had like goose hot dogs or something. It was really good actually. But he made dinner 2 nights. And then we went out the other 2. I was like, hey, we don't need to cook. We'd been hunting from dark to dark. So I was like, I got this one. So that covered food. Let's see here. So gift. I always get somebody something. I spent $25. I bought him a Cervicide hat. I pay for Cervicide stuff. I don't get it for free. People got to make it cost us. So I'm definitely not going to take member money to get me some free gear. I bought Greg, it was $25 with our discount. I bought him one of the new orange Cantler hats. Just something I wanted to do. I knew his one that I kept seeing in his pictures looked like had been through the ringer a few times, and I noticed he was always wearing the same one. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get him a new fresh one. It was an old Cervicide one he had and then gotten dirty. I was like, I'm gonna get him a fresh one. $25 on a gift there. Now I'm pretty sure that is everything. So let me just run through the list. If you guys have questions, please jump in and ask. But we got logistics. So with logistics, we got flights, we got gas, we got luggage. We got ammunition, any type of gear you have to buy there. I would hope everyone doesn't have to buy gear when you get there. I would hope you have stuff, but if you don't, let's say I live in Florida, I have a cold weather section of my tub. But let's just say you don't, obviously that stuff's going to cost you money. But over time, I would hope that everyone accumulates it. If you're someone that don't have a lot of money, let's just say you're like, man, I'm just got the kids, the wife, whatever, hard times. We all know what's going on in the country. It's just for some people, it's a really hard time. And with that being said, at the end of hunting season, keep your eye out on social media. Utilize the tools that we have. I don't know if anyone has ever noticed, most of y'all have been hunting for most of your lives or a while now, but we call it sale time. Like when hunting season's over, that's when you're getting your camera arms for half off. That's when you're getting all your, someone wants to give away. I've seen people give whole sets of Badlands stuff for super cheap. Like keep your eyes open, on the app or socials, or gosh, make a post. Hey, looking for a jacket. I guarantee you there's gonna be 50 people and you're gonna save some money in that. Honestly, with shipping now, that's gonna be like the most expensive thing. But if you're need, because obviously, if I'm in Florida and I'm going to Minnesota and it's 12 degrees when I'm there, what I use here, I would hope everyone knows you can't use there. We've all talked about, hey, I've used Walmart gear and killed deer. Me too. Killed lots of deer, dozens of deer, wearing Walmart Wrangler pants, the old mossy oak and real tree shirts. I've done it too. When you're in 12-degree weather, most of y'all here are northerners. You already know you got to have a little bit better quality gear, or at least layer up pretty hardcore, because it's just the elements are harsher. If you got tough skin and you can take it, kudos to you. I live in Florida. It was 85 degrees today. It's a huge difference for me. So I want to make sure I'm prepared there. Let's see here. So I got them in gift. We've talked logistics. Now, this is the price. This is exactly what I spent. Okay. The exact dollar amount I spent. And this is with me not pinching pennies, everyone. The flight was the only thing I pinched pennies on, because I had saved up. I needed $50 a month for 12 months to do this trip. I always put a little bit back each check. I try to put $100 back. But if I can't, for whatever odd reason, I always put 50, 75 bucks back. And I try to budget that out. But $679 is what it cost me out the door for every single thing, from the bullets to the Red Bulls to the parking, me getting stuck there an extra day. So it would have been cheaper. I got stuck there an extra day. My flight got canceled. They actually told me when I was hunting, so we got to hunt longer. So that was pretty cool. But $679 is what I spent. I do understand. Yes, obviously $679 isn't $200 or $100. It's not like it doesn't have value and it's not a decent amount of money. But for today's age, the $679 is equivalent to $300, a few years back. If you can tell me right now how many almost week, I mean, I was there 5 days. If you can tell me how many times you can do that for that price, you're on to something, because that's one of those things. Like I said, I wasn't pinching pennies. Now, if I was to pinch pennies, I added up the numbers. If we split everything Dutch, if we split the gas, split the beers, split the dinners, all that stuff, we did everything Dutch, was $583. So about $100 difference. $583, that includes everything. So you're looking at, $1,000. Like I said, what I do is I have a credit card designated to it, low interest on it. And you know what? I know, I don't know how many people have credit cards, but when I got this credit card, I think I had to pay like $100 or $200 because my credit was crap at the time. I got this card probably like 12, 13, 14 years ago. But it's a card I designated to it. I had to pay a couple $100 to get it. It sucked. No one else, I pay somebody to use your credit. But it built up, and I think I have like 25 or $3,000 limit on this card, and I've never maxed it out. I never let it get over $1,000. I pay my trips off, and then when my trips are paid off, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm working with $3,000 or whatever. That's personally what I do for these trips. Like I said, middle class budget, family, mortgage, responsibilities, infant kid, wife, all that stuff. Now let's talk about that. Let's talk about wives, husbands, girlfriends, kids. I didn't bring this up. Talk with your significant other, your kids. If you're alone and you don't have anybody, then you're good to go. But talk to everyone, because I tell you what I do. And this is just me helping everyone, because I've been on so many of these. I just talk to my girlfriend. She gets the summers. I get hunting season. That's what we've worked out. Sometimes it'll clash with certain things, weddings and, grandma's coming in or whatever. Sometimes stuff happens, but for the majority of the time, I like to compromise. Hey, my girlfriend likes to go to concerts and things like that. I'm like, you go to concerts in the summer, the spring, whatever, right after turkey season, obviously. But she gets the summer and, I'm like, hey, I'd like to go on. I mean, really, it's not, I'd like to go on. I'll just kind of let her know, like, hey, I have in my budget 2, 3, 4 trips that I can do. Let's talk about weekends. The great thing about doing the 3-day weekend, unless you obviously work weekends, is, grandma can get them for a couple days, your friends, you can figure out logistics with kids. And then obviously the wife, girlfriend, husband, boyfriend, whatever. So just kind of compromise, talk it out. If you don't have to talk it out and you're whatever, I mean, I can do anything I want. My girl's always like, go, it's hunting season, go have a good time. I'm lucky like that, I guess. She's a great woman, really lets me do whatever I want when it comes to that. But I do try to compromise just for the sake of our relationship in the summer. I like to do things she wants to do just because I'll be gone for a week, we got a kid. It's hard to leave someone with it, but I like to do those 3-4 day weekends. I keep saying a week, but to me, I mean, in reality, 4 or 5 days is pretty dang close to a week. I mean, if you're going 4 or 5 days, you're 2 days short of a week. What's 2 days? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. That's something that, it's one of those unwritten things not a lot of people talk about. Let's see here. I think as far as like a breakdown, that was everything. Let me see if anyone has any questions here. Look at Badlands 12 Days of Christmas. Yeah, Grant, that's great. These sales, I mean, I've got some Sub-Zero pants I got half off, I think I paid like $150. Like that's ridiculous. You definitely keep your eye out. 12 Days of Christmas. I know they've had a lot of stuff. Just keep your eye out. I like to wait till the end of hunting season. I mean, I'll cut up with everyone here. Everyone's pretty cool that's on this chat. So hopefully I don't offend nobody. But sometimes people have those really crappy seasons and then it'll end and they're just like, I just want to sell everything. And I'm like, no, don't do it, but I'll buy this. Just a little humor there. But definitely talk with people if you're looking for items and you want to save on gear. And then obviously we have over 200 partners, so you guys will save right there. But that's me. Let's see here. What was your ROI on this trip? Return on investment? What did you kill? Dude, that is a great question, Grant. And I didn't start out with this because I didn't want to go off the rails because it was such an awesome trip. So everyone, this was probably one of my favorite trips I've ever done with a hunt link. Not only was Greg very hospitable, his wife was great. His dogs were cool, beautiful home, great place in Minnesota. But I got to hunt things that I've never hunted before. So first things first, when I went up there, I wanted to learn more about waterfowl hunting and I wanted to learn how to run trap lines. Okay. Greg runs trap lines on his houses here. He's surrounded by a bunch of big freaking cornfields. I mean, as far as the eye can see cornfields, and then his house is right there. Boom. So I wanted to learn how to run trap lines. So what we did was I went up there. We did some trapping in between waterfowl hunting, and we did 3 different types of waterfowl hunting. Okay. We did goose hunting, layout blinds, decoys in the field. Okay. So I got to do that type of hunting, field hunting, if you will. We did pond hopping hunting. So we literally went from ponds and little areas he had scouted, found a mess of birds. They were all over the place. It was the perfect time. The water was kind of starting to freeze. I don't know a lot about it, but it was at that transition where it kind of sucked, but it was about to warm up. If I would have waited another week, it freaking got nasty. It got great, but still had a good time. So we pond hopped, and then the third type of hunting we did was diver hunting in the river. So blind, boat, freezing our butts off. It was sleeting, snowing, raining, just crappy. That was our best day of waterfowl hunting. It always is. But just a crap day. And when we were sitting there sniffling, just cold, I'd shaved my beard. I was freezing. I literally was like, I can't wait because I know that those most miserable weather hunts are when the stuff happens. And I tell you what, if I didn't suck at shooting, we would have tagged out or filled our limit every single day. They were just zooming so fast, boom, boom, boom. I would never waterfowl hunted, so I thought, I'm a bow hunter and a gun hunter. So I'm not a bird hunter. I don't do much bird hunting. So I definitely learned that skeet shooting is very important unless you're a natural shotgun guy or gal. But I've been skeet shooting a lot before my hunt link this weekend. So is a guy that I'm going with. But yeah, so we did blind hunting on the river. We did pond hopping. We did field hunting. So I did 3 types of waterfowl hunting, which that brings us to our next point here. Like, okay, on the high end, $679. Okay, a guide's gonna cost you $1,000 minimum. If you know them, might get them for $600, $700, $800. Guides are upwards of thousands of dollars. Okay, I don't know many, and I could be wrong, so someone correct me, but I don't know many that are doing the 3 different types of hunting in a couple days. So I got to experience 3 different types of hunting from someone that don't do it. My ROI on that was the experience and the learning that I got from that. So to break that down, when I came home in Florida and I want to waterfowl hunt, I am 100% confident that I can get out there and be successful. If I can find the birds, I can be successful. One, I learned that practicing is important. I learned 3 different types of waterfowl hunting. I learned about wind. I had no clue that they used the wind to help them slow down and cup in. I didn't know any of that stuff. Yes, I could have Googled it. Yes, I could have watched YouTube videos for hours and hours on end. I don't do that. I like to go there. I like to see it. I like to do it. I'm just not a huge watch a video. If it's 5 minutes and I'm going to learn something, maybe, but if I'm in those 15, 16, 20-minute videos, I'm just like, I can't, I got stuff to do. I just can't sit there and do it. So I got to learn 3 types of waterfowl hunting, and I got to learn how to run a trap line. Not only did I learn how to run a trap line, conibears, foothold traps, beaver traps, I got to set them up. So I physically had Greg walk me through it, and I was able to set traps. Was awesome. It was awesome. I know people that go to trapping schools and spend a bunch of money. It's just the 4 different types of hunting. So I got the trap, the layout blinds, the pond hopping, and then the river hunting. I did 4 types of hunting in a span of 4 to 5 days for the $600. Okay. We did go deer hunting one day because he did have it. The rut had just kicked off. He had a deer on his property. I was like, bro, let's go hunt some waterfowl and we'll go try to get this deer and I'll film you. We had a little bit of spare time. So we did do that. So really in reality, I got to do 5 types of hunting. I wouldn't have shot the deer. I would have filmed it. But I just thought it was cool. He's got a real big buck that's pretty nocturnal and it was slowly starting to come out during the day. So it was just a good moment to be there. But the ROI on that was the educational part for me. And then also I got to kill, which this is, to some people it's trash, but to me, it's something I really wanted, was the Drake hooded merganser. I think they're beautiful birds. He was just gorgeous. Just the white and the black and the brown eyes. I mean, he was just absolutely perfect. Just one of those birds that was just, color and book perfect. Just straight up. When I seen him, I was just like instantly like just mesmerized. As corny as it may sound, he's just a real beautiful bird, the one I shot. Pictures don't do it any justice at all. Even when I cleaned it up and I was getting it ready for the freezer, I was like, wow, man, like this thing is, hooded merganser Drake. I'm going to get it mounted. It's going to be my first mounted bird. So we'll have to tack that price on whenever I find one. But super awesome. So I guess I could say the ROI to answer your question with that would be that experience that I got to get. I did shoot some videos. I did shoot a trapping video and I did shoot a waterfowl video. If I was a member, an active member like everyone here, I could have submit 2 videos for payouts. So for you content creators out there, the trapping video I did was amazing. It's like 8 minutes long and it went over 3 types of trapping. Was really cool. I'm putting it together now. I'm going to obviously put it out and not get paid for it. But it's just something I really wanted to do. So for everyone that's here, you're eligible if you're field staff to get paid for content. So if you do go on these trips and you film and you share the adventure, Give it to us. We're going to put it out. We're going to pay you for it. We've had plenty of good payouts this season for those content creators. Lots of videos, great videos that we've put out and paid for it because of the great experience that people are showcasing. Which real quick, just want to jump on that. I'm not sure if everyone knows, but we don't make money on content. Don't know who knows us. We don't sell it to people. We don't monetize on YouTube. We don't use it for a toothbrush commercial. We don't do any of that stuff. We use it for the team. So those that want to educate or be educated and those that want to be inspired. When I say inspired, it's that waterfowl video I watched last year with Paul Bolin. And I was like, I want to do this. That's what I mean by inspired, and then made it happen. So to Grant, I hope that answers your question. That experience, to me, priceless. I mean, think about it. Like, just ask yourselves for a minute, can you give yourself a number of that amazing waterfowl experience? And when I say amazing, I'm talking 4 or 5 mallards busting in freaking this big. I didn't even know mallards got that big. I'm talking we were seeing birds that Greg was like, oh my gosh, that's like a speck or this or that, and mentioning all these names. I'm like, I don't have where, boom. I mean, just flying. And the great thing about Greg was too, he walked me through everything. He didn't just say, hey, Justin, sit here, and when a bird comes, I want you to just blast it. It wasn't like that. He said, Justin, I don't shoot birds that are flying. I shoot birds that come, they cup in, they're landing. That's what he said he wanted to shoot. He's like, obviously, if we have a crap couple of days and it's a crunch time win, and it's the last day or whatever, we can figure out something there. But he's like, we want to have them cup in the wind. We want them landing. We want them coming in. So I said, yeah, you're the expert here, not me, whatever you want to do. He's like, I'm going to tell you when to shoot. When I tell you to shoot, he's like, I don't care if they're like in the blind. He's like, don't shoot till I tell you. I listened to everything he said. And I tell you what, it was freaking awesome. Pictures, video does not do it any justice. I felt like my heart and like adrenaline for about, I'd say 3 or 4 hours straight of just, okay, we're talking, boom, birds. We're talking, boom, birds. I mean, just, it was insane. I've never seen that many birds before, and definitely never had that many work into a spread. I'm from Florida, so we get a wood duck or two, maybe a green-winged teal, mallards, things like that. But you're shooting 1 or 2 birds. I mean, it was, like I said, we would have freaking slayed it. And another great thing, and this is just something I want to mention. Greg actually waited till I killed birds first. I kept telling him, like, dude, don't wait for me. Like, just blast them. Like, you don't need to wait for me, bro. He's like, no. He's like, I come out here all the time. I live here. This is what I do. I want you to hit the birds. I want us to know, like, hey, that was your bird. You got him. Your experience. And then once we did that, then we both started shooting at the same time. I just thought that was awesome. I just thought that it was probably one of the most respectful. I wouldn't even say respectful, because if he didn't do it, I wouldn't have cared. But I just thought that was a really good gesture. And when he comes down here, if he ever comes down here to Florida, I'm going to repay the favor. I'm going to treat him how he treated me. He treated me amazing. He literally treated me like we'd known each other our whole freaking lives, which I thought was great. It was almost like having a brother, that, you didn't grow up with. But let's see here. So that's what I have. What other questions? Let me just check this chat. Shooting clays. Yes. So I'm telling y'all, if you want to get into waterfowl hunting, Mark, I know you're waterfowl hunting, and a couple other people, and there's a lot of experts here. Trey's a freaking animal, great waterfowl hunter. A lot of y'all in here are. I'm not looking through the chat now. I won't name each person off, but I do know there's a lot of people in here that are really solid waterfowl hunters. Make sure you practice like anything else. If you're hunting out of a kayak, shoot out of the kayak. If you're hunting out of a tree stand, shoot out of the tree stand, because I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be cocky, but I'm a pretty good shot. Like, I've always considered myself a really good shot. I grew up hunting. We were killing rabbits with BB guns. We were hitting stuff with slingshots. Like, always had good hand-eye coordination, was always a good shot. I was not a good shot on this trip. It was embarrassing. I actually got mad a couple of times. And Greg's like, bro, just chill. You've never done this before. Relax. He's like, you'll get them. Birds will come. Just relax. Once I figured out what I was doing, which was aiming, don't aim, point was a huge thing I was doing. I was trying to sniper them. That's not what you do. But that's what I was able to figure out. Doesn't matter how good you are. I've seen people that shoot bows for a living and have, taken bad shots on deer. It's just at 5 yards, and they've won thousands of dollars. So definitely make sure you practice for the quarry you're hunting. Respect yourself, respect the animal. That's the best way to put it. If you've waterfowl hunted, you've seen probably where you've hit ducks and they're still alive and you got to get them real quick or put another round in them. Let's try to, practice and get better here. Let's see. We got some questions. When heading out west, do you guys always need points? So a lot of places do have points. We will be doing a webinar on this from someone that goes to a lot of states. There are a lot of people in here now that travel to other states. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't personally went into that realm of elk, Dall sheep, or I don't even know if they're Dall sheep, mountain goats or whatever. Out west bears, things like that. I haven't ventured into that realm, but most of your places are going to be quotas, tags. We are going to do an in-depth webinar on this with Brian Halchak. I think he went to Colorado, New Mexico, and somewhere else on points this year, and we're going to talk about that point system for everyone. But a lot of those you do, and that's also where that networking is going to come in. A lot of those questions are going to be answered from the person you're with. If I'm hunting with Johnny Wagner in 2024 at his Wyoming camp, we need to make sure that we've communicated, we've put in for the tags. Someone had mentioned a 2-year wait. I think it was Aaron. A lot of places do have that. So you want to check that out. And that's why it's so important to get these hunt links up as soon as you pretty much fathom them, is the best way I put it. If you're sitting in bed one night, pillow talk, and you're like, you know what? I want to go kill a mountain lion out west. We actually have a hunt link up right now for a mountain lion. I want to go kill a mountain lion out west. I need to hit whoever's out west that kills mountain lions up. I need to see what I need to do. Weapon, tags, whatever. That's what you need to do with your networking. The sooner the better. Real quick, and I'll answer some more questions. This is something I wanted to bring up. It goes into that respect, and this is why I want to bring it up. I would hope that I don't have to tell everyone this, okay? We are working on some safety procedures for everyone so that y'all are safe. Obviously, the safety of the team is always most first. So when meeting up with other people, we're going to make sure that we're going to have some disclosures, things like that. But make sure you sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Make sure that when you meet these people and you set everything up and you're ready to go, Jacob's coming down here. He's going to kill a turkey in March. He's taking vacation time off from work. I've taken vacation time off from work. I'm going to be honest with everyone. I'm a straight shooter. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm a real person like everyone here. Don't screw somebody over. If your kid gets sick, if your wife gets sick and you got to watch, things happen. I understand. Things happen. We've learned that, especially over the last couple years. We don't need to go into detail, but things can happen from one day to the next. But when you plan something with someone, make sure everyone respects everyone's time. I know that may not seem like a big deal, but I'm going to tell y'all a little story of one of the first hunt links I did back in 2017. We had this guy, he's no longer in Cervicide anymore. Most of the people that it's not for them will end up leaving on their own. And we had set up a hunt link. I had taken time off from work, all this jazz. And I don't want to scare anyone, but I want to be honest, because this is how you get better. This is how you fix things, is by knowing, not hiding and sweeping under the rug. But we set everything up, ready to go, blah, blah, blah. I worked at a job where I had to put in like 6 months in advance, 8 months in advance. It was very strict. They didn't care if your car was broke down. You had to be there. Like when it was time to be there, it was time to be there. They didn't care. I literally worked the day after my dad died. I had to be at work. Literally it was a job that was very strict. So when I took off work, like that is my gift to you. Like I took off from work. So took off from work, hit the guy up. He was supposed to be there on like a Thursday or a Friday. I hit him up on that Monday or Tuesday. It's like, yo, what's up? We still on. I always do that. I'm like, we still on. Oh, sorry, man. Something came up. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I was fuming. red face, mad. I told him I was a member at the time. I wasn't working here. I went off on him. I'm like, look, bro, like I don't have one of these jobs where I can just do whatever. Everything has to be scheduled. I have a family, all this stuff I have to plan out. I got to plan someone to feed my dogs. Like, you got to plan this stuff out. And I went off on him. I was really upset. He didn't have a good reason. He literally something with his girlfriend. It wasn't even a good reason. It was some BS. It wasn't like, oh, my kid was sick or, wife's sick, whatever. I was really upset about it because he was a single guy. His kids lived with his wife, and I was really upset about it. And I let him know. And I almost didn't want to do hunt links anymore. I was almost like, I'm not wasting my time. Like, are you kidding me? So I actually posted that day. I was pretty mad. I wanted to vent. I think I maybe took a shot at him, but didn't really even take a shot at him, if you know what I mean. And I said, hey, pretty much someone flaked and I have an opening. Can anyone come down in the next couple of days? I actually had this guy named Cody come down. And glad it did. I'm glad it did because Cody's one of my best friends now. We talk all the time. He's been a member of Cervicide longer than I have, like maybe 15 or 16, I think he joined. He came down. We did some Osceola hunting. We did some monster bass fishing. We did some saltwater fishing. Took him out. He said, man, I want to catch a shark. He's like, I don't care what we do. I'd love to catch a shark. I was like, dude, catching a shark here is like catching bluegill up north. I'm like, come on down. Went out there, took him into a canoe in the middle of the bay in Tampa Bay, got him on a monster shark. I mean, big old shark, big old hammerhead shark. Got it up to the side of the boat, took the hook out. I mean, so freaking cool. It's beside the canoe. It's as big as a canoe, half the size of a canoe, whatever. Great experience. So it worked out. The guy flaked. I met someone probably cooler. No offense to that guy. But if you're going to flake on me for no reason, he was definitely cooler. Me and him, he came down multiple times after that. Cody's came down 3 or 4 times. Small world. His brother actually moved not too far from me, not too long ago. So crazy small world. But my point is, respect people's time. Stuff comes up, everyone. We understand that. I'm not saying that you need to know what's going to happen if you plan something a year in advance. You lose your job, you get laid off. I understand it. Everyone should understand it. But just be honest, because I promise you, if you're honest and you're transparent, there'll be no issues. There'd be no issues at all. When you start lying and saying you can do something and you can't, and you flake on people, that guy, no one wanted to hunt with him after that. And I'm not here to take shots at that guy or, we're about uniting hunters, and I forgave him since then and was like, whatever, I'm over it. But I'm all for that. I don't want to outcast a hunter because something happened and they had a bad judgment or whatever. But also, like, when you take off time from work, you got to respect your time. How mad? What if I didn't text him? Like, what if I did not text him and he didn't show? But I've done 20, 23, 24 hunt links. That's the only time that's happened. That's the only time that's happened. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, it's the only time someone's flaked on me. I have had to reschedule where it was a mutual thing where me and the person's like, hey, can we push it to this or do it earlier? Me and Greg moved ours up a week. That's cool if you're mutual, but just talk it out, be transparent. And also there's spots. I save spots on Onyx, like when I'm up there, because we'll usually hunt a few days. So obviously I need to see what's going on, where I'm at. What if we split up? I've been on hunt links where we split up for the day, and I need to know where I'm at. I'm in the middle of freaking wilderness. I was in PA, and we were like 2 hours from the nearest city on our bear camp hunt. And I was hunting by myself. So we all split up. But you need to know where you are. But I will tell everyone, and I shouldn't have to say this either, it's their spot. I don't care if it's public land, private land, grandma's land, 3,000 hunters hunt there. In my opinion, and this is just how I'm doing things, y'all can do whatever you want. But this is what works for me. I don't go to their spot, especially without their permission. I know it's everyone's, especially with public land, but I'm not going to go do a do-it-yourself hunt and be like, hey, I'm going to take to that spot, Greg, where we were seeing hundreds of birds freaking cupping in, and I'm going to go there next year with me and 10 other buddies. If I do that, Greg's getting an invite, and I'm going to ask him, hey, do you think me and you can set up a hunt link over there? It's respect. I was just raised to respect people. They put the work into it. They put the time into it. If you both go, let's say you both scout it, you both find it. Obviously, there's some gray area in there. If you both did it, you both found it, you know, neither of you have been there, you know, that's something you're going to have to discuss. But that's with me. I don't go to people's spots. I don't go there on my own time. I hunt with people in Georgia and the states above me. And there's this one piece of public land. It's really big. I hit the guy up and was like, hey, man, I know you can't come. You can't hunt in that area. You can say no. He's like, oh, I actually moved like 6 months ago. I'm like 3 hours from there. He's like, go tear it up. But communicate, talk. He didn't even care. I hunt it all the time now, every year. It's got monster bucks in it. But yeah, so everyone, just so you know, with that, drop your questions in here. If you need to drop that, hey, you'd like to jump on and ask some more questions with this, please do. Questions are great. It opens the door usually for a lot of other things. Correct shot size has a huge difference in killing birds on the wing, also paired with choke. Yeah, so Trey, as someone that is pretty good at waterfowl, that's something great to go in. And that's why when you do these hunt links, I'm not saying don't get with a newbie. I've met up with people that we had no clue what we were doing on certain things. And we're like, let's go try it out. Let's go on an adventure, see what's going on. I bet you I'd love to go up there with Mark and me and him just tackle some freaking waterfowl in Virginia and just see what happens. But definitely try to reach out to those people like Trey, like a lot of y'all in here that are experts at, you know, really, and this is in the most respectful way. I always tell people, I'm like, you don't need to be on social media every day and on the app and on the stuff to know what's going on. You know, we do put these, you know, I always pin important things, but we always put everything in the newsletter as far as hunt links and things like that. I know a lot of people in here work a lot. So just communicate with these people. I had seen Greg dropping birds like a freaking crazy man, just like Trey and Jeffrey and a lot of y'all other people do. And I was like, bro, I got to get with this dude. I'm watching him fill up like, you know, freaking just dropping Mondo birds every year consistently. I'm like, I got to get up there. And then he's going to come down here eventually. I don't know for what. He's like, I'll let you know. He's actually trying to get me to come back up there and ice fish. And I'm like, I don't think I can squeeze another one in. Sean Trump is good to talk to at waterfowl. Yeah, so Josh said Sean's one of our partners here. We have a lot of great waterfowl people. Great thing about Cervicide is you can actually get on our platforms, any of our platforms. If it says Cervicide, whatever, you can get on our platforms and say, hey, new guy here. I don't know dip about waterfowl. They got you. Someone will have your back. If they don't like the question or whatever, Cervicide, we have the unwritten rule, just scroll on by it. Just let them do their thing, scroll on by it. It ain't hurting you. Everyone I know, we've seen a lot of questions, you know, can I shoot a deer at night? I've seen some crazy stuff. Just let's just try to act like adults, which we have no issues here at all, ever. I think I've literally one person ever we've had to say, like, kind of relax a little bit. Just help people out when you can, because at the end of the day, would you rather be out there? This is great for people that hunt public land. We hear it all the time. You're out there and it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon where a bird flies and it's like 50 million people. I don't know if you older guys might remember that cartoon. But would you rather you show them the right way or the better way, or would you rather them watch a YouTube video or learn it from someone that has no freaking clue what they're doing? Me personally, I wanted to meet Greg because I see he does things the right way. I wanted to meet Jeremy. I see he does things the right way. Tucker does things the right way, at least portrays it the right way. That's the best way I'll put it. And they did. When I met all these people, these 20-some people that I've done these hunt links with, all of them, I learned so much. And you can do this on your own. You can watch YouTube videos all night. You can research. If you're a researcher, you can do this on your own. But I met 20-some people in the last couple of years, and I guarantee you it would have took me 5 to 10 years to learn everything that I learned. And when I say learn, I mean, you're not going to learn any better than hands-on. You're not going to learn about killing ducks until you miss ducks or use the wrong shells or don't have the right choke or don't have the proper equipment that you need. It's going to happen. There's no better life lesson than trial and error. So for everyone, just a quick recap here. $679 trip. That was the luxurious price. That was me buying beers, smoking cigars, you know, eating, we ordered like a bunch of pizza one night. all that. $583 if you would have just paid for your own personal stuff. Like I said, that's everything. Sandwiches at the airport, Red Bulls in the morning. What other questions do we have here? We're about 9:10. I just want to make sure everyone understands. And as you drop your questions here, if you want to talk, like verbally do your question, that's completely fine too. Drop it in the chat that you do, or raise your hand or whatever on this thing. But let's talk about, like, what is a hunt link? You guys, you don't have to trade a hunt for a hunt. I want to put that out there. I wasn't going to go into this on this episode, but we might as well real quick. It's not just about, hey, Greg, trade me a waterfowl hunt and you can come down here for turkey. I do a lot of hunts where a group of us just get together. I'm actually going this weekend with 3 of us, and we're going to do some redheads and greenbacks, I believe they're called, and black ducks. And we are actually going to do that. It's 3 of us on a do-it-yourself hunt. We were like, hey, let's do it. We were talking. We asked a little chat. I have a private chats with a ton of people here. I've got so many on my phone. It's crazy. I always have to tell my girl it's not another girl, it's a bunch of guys. Well, there are some girls in it. Me and Sammy talk all the time, but in the club, it's brothers and sisters. So I'm like, there's no romanticism happening. It's just hunting. It's romantic, but it's hunting romantic. But very affordable. At the end of the day, I think that $600, and like I said, that's $48 a month. $48 a month. I understand people are tight. That's a couple bucks a day or whatever. Put it back. That's what I do. I'm just really good with, like, finances and stuff. I'm really good at saving money and things like that. I do like to spend money, but also I'm good at saving, like, checks. So I'll put $50, $75, $100 back a check, and then I can decide what trips I want to do. But I can't stress this enough. If you don't get to know people, and you don't communicate, and you don't see if you like each other, and you don't do all that, you might still have a good experience. I'm not saying you won't. I know people that have done a guided trips where they didn't know anyone and probably had the best time of their life. I actually know someone that went on a guided hunt with a bunch of people he didn't even know, and they had an amazing time. Really, everyone got on bulls and all kinds of stuff. He said it was awesome. So I'm not saying that it's not possible. But I will say that that's the secret. That's the secret to the cheaper, more affordable. Like I said, I've done over 20 of these. I haven't done 1 or 2 or 3. I've done over 20 of these, and they're really affordable. This is my most expensive trip. Most of my trips, like when I went to Ohio last year, was like $300 or $400. Most of my trips I go to, I drive, and it's a couple $100. I went to PA, and my gas was, I don't have my numbers in front of me, but I think to drive to PA, it cost me like, I want to say it was like 300 there or something like that. It was like $300 there, $300 back, a little less, like 280, 275. So it was a little expensive, but I have a truck. I have a big truck. If I would have rented a car or something, it would have been a lot cheaper. I just wanted to take my truck. But I will say this was one of the most expensive trips I've been on, maybe in that $600 range. Most of mine, and you can do cheaper trips. Let's say you want to go on a trip. You don't have to go across country. Go to Tennessee and hunt some velvet bucks. Go to Arizona and do some trout fishing. I don't know if a lot of y'all know Arizona's got some killer trout fishing. Go to California, kill you a black-tailed deer. We got a hookup out there. Michael, on them, man. Always on those freaking black-tailed deer. They also have a weird pig, juvelin or something like that. All over the place. Yes, the big game stuff is going to be a little more expensive, obviously. I think I looked at Colorado's tags. It was like $1,000 or $2,000 for an out-of-state. For you big game junkies out there that want those elk and big bear and moose, it's a lot of tags, a little bit more money, but it's going to be cheaper than a do-it-yourself. And it's also going to be cheaper than a guided trip. I'm not saying don't do guided trips. I'm not saying don't do it yourself. But if you want to be efficient and you want to be the most efficient with your money, a hunt link's going to be the best way to do it. Now, when you're posting these hunt links, it can be tentatively planned. Gary wants to come down here and turkey hunt next year. Post it up as a hunt link. I'd love to get it on to Florida. I'd love to hunt some Osceola. 24, 25, 23, 24, whatever years you can squeeze it in. Start tentatively planning that. I've done stuff a year or two in advance. And I mean, me and Greg been talking about this for 3 or 4 years. I'm gonna get up there. Yeah, come on, let's do it. We're gonna have such a great time. The birds, 3 or 4 years went by like that. I mean, literally like that. It does happen, but I'm telling you, those are the best hunts I've ever been on. Bucket list, elk with a bow. There are some elk hunt links up. If you don't see one you like, or maybe you don't like that area, or you'd rather go to Colorado instead of New Mexico or whatever, check that hunt link. And for everyone that doesn't know, it's cervicide.com. Okay, so cervicide.com /hunt-link. If you go to cervicide.com and you log in, it's going to have every single one of your perks laid out, and you're going to see hunt link right there. You can click on that and you can see it. It's okay to tentatively plan it. Let's say you might not be able, let's say Colton's work schedule is crazy, switches jobs, whatever. Put in there, hey man, my job's crazy. I'd like to get down there at this point in time. Let's try to talk it out and set it. It's all about the honesty. It's all about the transparency. There's a big description box. Be as detailed as possible. If you just put, hey, I want to kill an elk and we'll do stuff. I mean, how many people are going to jump at that? Be detailed and then talk to them. And then also, I want to say that this is where I kind of need to learn how to sugarcoat things, but don't be butthurt if somebody doesn't hit you back up right away. I work 70 hours a week, and I'll be honest with you, when I get off work, texting someone back isn't the very first thing on my mind. It's feeding myself, it's pulling laundry out, it's mowing the grass, it's giving the baby a bath, tending the old lady. It's there's stuff to do. So texting someone back isn't obviously the very first thing when I get off of a 70-hour work week. Let's see here. So when you talk to people, just reach out to them. Hey man, don't want to bother you. I've hit you up a few times, really interested in that mountain lion hunt. Let's make it happen. If they don't hit you up, let's say you done hit them up 6-7 times, reach out to me. Hey, Justin, I'm trying to reach out to this person. Their number could have changed. Their email could have changed. They could have moved. Maybe they're not even in the club anymore. Talk to me. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for. Justin, trying to get on this hunt. I see it's posted. It doesn't say closed. Can't reach the person. Can you help me out? I got you. Promise I got y'all. We'll figure it out together. Let's see here. Let me just check these chats. We got some people chatting in here. Butthurt was appropriate phrase. And that's what it boils down to. I had someone, not making fun of them at all. People can make fun of me all they want. I got a funny voice. I'm goofy. I'm tall. I'm overweight. Doesn't matter to me. But I've had people say I've hit someone up, and I can look in like all the messages and like all that stuff. Like I can look and see when you've reached out and all that stuff, unless you just do a text. I can't see the text thing, but just communicate. Hey man, I've hit you up a few times. Don't want to be a stalker over here. I'm just really interested in it. I want to see what's going on. And then for you people that do put the hunt links up, try to be responsive. When you put a hunt link up, put your email there, put your phone number there. If you don't want them to text you, you don't have to put your phone number. Put your email. Message me on Facebook. Whatever you want. Okay. Let's see here. Some chats. Kind of cute. Hopefully you're talking about me, Trey. Veteran hunt this past weekend. It was great. No deer, but it was great. John knows that's what it's about. I have been on hunt links where we didn't get anything. Not many. We're normally lucky. We're normally successful. But I have been on that. And I'm really glad you actually said that, John, because that's another thing that goes to the transparency. If you haven't killed a deer in 10 years and you're trading someone a hunt link on private land and you haven't killed a deer in 10 years, that's okay. It's okay. But let them know that. If you're killing a deer every year, you're tagging out. Hey, man, I tag out every year. So if we don't get something, bad luck. It's hunting. It's not killing unless you open up a gate. It's not guaranteed. I don't care if that deer's there. We've seen it. We've all seen hundreds of flocks of birds in a field. Not a speck there the next day. We've seen bucks every single day coming out of the spot, and then when you get off work, you get there, he ain't there no more, and he's gone, and your neighbor shoots him 3 farms over. It's happened. So nothing's guaranteed in hunting. But be honest. If you've never killed a deer, let them know. Hey, I'd like you to come down. I got this on my property. Just be transparent. because nothing's gonna burn someone worse if you get there and if you hadn't killed a deer in 10 years and I'm coming to do a deer hunt with you, it might be like, I'm not judging. I don't understand how dry spells go, but we're about to do a deer hunt. I feel like the odds are not in our favor. And I know it's hunting, but you definitely want to try to set them up for success because we all want to kill something. I love the experience, my favorite part, but I want to shed some blood too. I want to kill something. I want to be successful. I want to come down and do gator hunting in Florida or Louisiana. So that I can't speak for Louisiana. I think we do have someone in Louisiana in here right now. We are on a very strict tag system here, meaning I get 2 tags as a resident, and it took me 3 years to draw them. So once I start drawing them, I drew one last year. If I draw one this year, I'm going to post it up as a hunt link. Definitely a great opportunity. If a lot of people, let's say Sammy puts up a bass fishing, double-digit bass fishing kayak trip, okay? And 30 people hit her up and say, yo, I want this trip. Don't feel it's your hunt. You can pick whoever you want. You don't need to explain yourself at all. If you want to pick Trey because you've talked and your boys, pick Trey. But if you want to be fair, what I do is I draw names. So unless it's like Lasagna, for example, asked me about hogs before a lot of other people did. I've had other people come down for hogs, but she asked me first. Probably almost a year ago now. And I told her, I was like, you and your wife can come down here. We'll get you on a hog. We'll figure something out. I've always wanted to hunt North Carolina. So I'm like, hey, we'll figure something out. But draw straws, draw a hat, or draw names out of a hat. They have random name pickers on Google. Random name picker, Google it. You can pick the random names. Let them know. Make it a fun thing. Hey, tonight I'm picking who's coming down and killing gator in Florida. If you want to make it fair and everyone wants to do it, think outside the box. And also, I get a lot of people that want to come down here for turkey and hog. That's what I like to do. There are some people that I've known for years that do get the first dibs. But now I'm to the point where I'm starting to pretty much pick random names, just keep things fair. I have so many opportunities of people coming down. Let's see here. Retired. So John is a retired Army fat chef. Hey, you know what? You're the kind of person I want in a hunt camp because we gonna throw down. I tell you what, every hunt camp or hunting place I've ever been to, we don't starve. That's for sure. I've been on private ground for 6 years. Finally got a tag wrapped around some horns last month. It's frustrating, but the beauty of bow hunting. Yes. So love bow hunting myself. I love traveling to other states and bow hunting. I went to Ohio and spent $340 in Ohio and had 150-inch bucks walking under me every day. We don't have 150-inch bucks in Florida. And if we do, it's really scraping that state record. It was amazing. It was a great experience. We had smaller bucks under us all day, but we knew it was there and we knew what we were after. So that is hunting. Let's see here. Let me just answer some more of these. Get y'all's questions in. Justin, I live in upstate New York, double digit. He says, hey, you got it to a double digit. My personal best is just over 6'6". Is still solid. Sammy, I heard Bass Pro displays at least 12 pounds. So our average down here is actually 10 pounds. Most people that come down, I'll get them on a like 6-8 pound bass. I've only had one guy catch a double digit down here. And I tell you what, he had never caught a bass before and he was stoked. He did not even care that he didn't kill a turkey. Jason, I'm from PA. How does the gator season work in LA? So I don't know about LA. There are some LA guys, I think, on here. John Reason, my biggest gator in Louisiana is 13.9. So John might be someone good to talk to there about that. You guys can private message each other. Wrong bait, get it back on the show. If you can bow hunt them in Louisiana. But so if anyone has any questions, definitely get them on. My cell camera is going off. Let's see what we got here. Let me just check my messages real quick. If you have questions, everyone, drop them in there. I've got a few people hit me up on my messenger. You should try. Yes. So Michael's talking to me here. So that is something that I will reiterate real quick. We'll wrap this up in another 5-10 minutes here. But there's no rush. There's no rush, people. I know it's exciting and you want to go hunt things. Trust me, I have to pack after this. I'm leaving in the morning at like 5 a.m. Took a couple extra vacation days on this one just because I didn't want to rush. I just kind of got some vacation time. I take most of vacation time in the spring. So I, was just taking a few days here, but don't rush. Plan it out. Do it the right way. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I had such good experiences with doing these hunt links that when Cervicide got big enough to start hiring more people and they need more people, it was like no question that I wanted to do this. I don't hunt for a living. I don't get paid to hunt by contrary belief. When you work in the hunt, no one in the hunting industry gets paid to hunt. So I don't know if anyone here knows that. But not one person in the hunting industry gets paid to hunt. There's people that get paid to act, and there's people that get paid to sell product, and there's people who get paid to teach and things like that. But no one is getting paid to wake up and hunt. I'm getting paid to run Cervicide. So with that being said, I go on hunts on my weekends off with my vacation time, things like that, to make sure that I can do so many of these. And you can do one big trip. If you just want to spend the 600 and or $583 and you just want to go hunt waterfowl for a week and that's the only trip you want to do, great. I'm able to do a little bit more just because I'm really good at saving during the year. To be honest with you, I don't spend a lot of money during the year, except on bills, obviously, like everyone else takes all my money. But definitely, plan. And the more I've planned, I started out with one hunt link and then I did two. And I can still remember the time I did three in a year. And I just thought I was like living, I mean, I was, but just living my best life. Like, I mean, just I love the experiences. I literally like get that adrenaline from being out in Minnesota in 12-degree weather, skirting across a river, snow in my face, doing things I don't do, being in Ohio in the middle of a cornfield with bucks walking under our tree, like great experiences. Being in Florida, hearing Osceolas gobble, they don't gobble. So when they gobble, they're right on you. Being out in the ocean with somebody, getting them on a shark and seeing their face, when they're pulling up with something that they've never seen before in their life, except on Shark Week on TV. Those experiences are amazing. And that is your ROI. For those people that don't care about experiences, they just want to kill. Plenty of killers in here. There's plenty of killers that are down to business where they're like, let's just go, let's drop bodies, link up with them. I link up with some guys in Maryland every year, and we do depredation tags or whatever, and we drop bodies. We don't even put pictures up. We kill so many deer legally. It's all legal. We have the tags and stuff for it, but it's crop damage permits. We fill up multiple pickup trucks full of deer. We're skinning deer so long that we got blisters on our hands from the knives. But it's one of those things that we all do together, and we love it. And we enjoy it. And then there's other people that I go out and we're specifically hunting 170-inch bucks. There's times where I'm at a place and they're like, shoot spikes and jakes. We got overpopulation of them. There's other places where they're like, don't kill a bird that's, we need 3-4-year-old birds. So each place is different, all types of hunting, but I get the best of every world and y'all can too. Let's see here. 15 gator tags. See, Louisiana is pretty liberal with their tags. We're not there, which is crazy. I think we have a bigger gator population here, but sounds like Louisiana is going to be your place to go there if you want to do some gator hunting, which we have. I just looked the other day. I think we have 28, 30 members in Louisiana. So not too bad, not too shabby at all. Louisiana isn't a monster huge state like Texas or anything. So but what questions did everyone have? We're on about 9:30, an hour and a half. So I'd like to slowly start wrapping this up shortly. I still got to pack and things like that. But what questions do y'all have as far as hunt links? What concerns? Maybe something you're worried about? Maybe maybe you just need help posting one up. You don't really know what to say. What do you guys got for me? All right. Well, I mean, I'll give y'all some time to type your questions out. But we get notifications. Do we get notification if someone comments on our hunt link? That's a great question, Austin. So I need to double check with Greg. We actually had this conversation the other day. You need to log into your account to see the comments on your hunt link. I really wish I'm not vague with this answer, and if I need to get it in more detail, I will. But Greg and I talked yesterday because he did not know that there was, obviously I look every day. So I'll see the comments, and if I don't see you responded, I actually take a screenshot and I'll text it to you. But I seen someone the other day that said they didn't know about the comments, and I just hit them up. So I'll try my best to always maintain that for everyone. When I see the hunt links come in, I'll try to help facilitate that. If I see a comment, Austin, and I see you haven't answered it, I'll hit you up, be like, hey, you're probably working, but you got 3 people that have commented on this. So you should be able to log in and you should be able to see that. You don't get notifications, but let me look at that, okay? Let me look and see if we can have an option to get notifications on HuntLink comments. And I'll do that. And that is why it's so important to put contact information. They can comment on those hunt links at cervicide.com and you can see them. But I like to throw my email, Facebook Messenger, phone number, whatever you want to do. Put that there. Best way of communication. I think email is probably the best for a lot of people if you don't want to give your number out just yet. I'll be honest with you. I talk to people on Messenger and email before I give them my cell phone number. A lot of y'all on the team, I give you my number just because we're all friends here and stuff. But a lot of people I do wait. Do we get notifications? My lab just got scared of gunshots and I was hoping she can be worked out of it. My lab just got scared of gunshots. Oh, so we do have some dog experts on here. I don't know much about dogs, but we do have a lot of people that know a lot about like dog hunting. I know Brian Hallcheck's one, Tesla Nagy. She trains dogs. Who else we got in here that trains dogs? We have a couple dog trainers. Sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head a few of them. Sammy's got a dog, so she can definitely help. They bird hunt their dog pretty hardcore. Ruger, I believe her dog's name is. So you can hit her up, Sammy. You can hit some of these other people up. Make a post if you need help with that, because I do know that there's lots of people that can help you with that, John. Lots of people in here that can help. Okay, so if no one has any questions, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Long story short, everyone, HuntLink's a great way to save money. It's a great way to meet people. I know Sammy, since we brought her name up, she did a HuntLink with Emily. That's how they met. They're like best friends. They do all kinds of stuff together, fishing trips, kayaking trips, hunts, all kinds of stuff, pheasant hunts. I think they've done deer hunts, all kinds of hunts. And they met through networking, communicating. You might not like everyone. It's okay. It's okay to not like everybody. But you might meet your best friend. You might meet somebody that you really click with. I don't know about y'all, but not a lot of people hunt how I hunt. It's a big thing down here. Love everyone I hunt with. Not saying I don't. I hunt a certain way. And when I meet someone that hunts the way I do, it's like, I'm like, oh man, where have you been all my life? It's nice to have like a tag team type partner that you can do that with. I know I had some guys down here a couple years ago and I was like, hey guys, really want to get you on your birds because there's 2 of you. We're hunting dark to dark. So if you're not down with that, let me know. And they were cool with it. We got them on some birds, got them on some fish too. Let's see here. Are there any HuntLink International available? So not currently international. We do sort of have a HuntLink that's international in New Zealand. So we have a member, his name's Dylan Moore. He is an actual guide out in New Zealand, and he is currently working on getting Cervicide members a super, super awesome hookup. It will obviously be a paid guided hunt, but it's not high fence or anything. It's literally like freaking New Zealand. Looks like crazy. Looks like freaking Alaska or something. Crazy mountain ranges and all types of terrains. But he is actually a longtime Cervicide member and said he is currently working with someone to give us the hookup on New Zealand. We also have Chris, who is talking to some people in Chile about getting some hookups in Chile. Now, these will be paid hunts, but there are hookups. Great pricing. There are two guys in Cervicide that are going to Africa this year. They actually did a hog hunt together, liked each other, and said, let's go to Africa. They both wanted to go to Africa. So they're going to go to Africa and do a hunt. Met through Cervicide, did a hog hunt. Actually, I helped them meet because one of the guys came down here to hunt with me, and then the other guy came over, and then he met them, and then they ended up doing hunts together. Super awesome how that works out. So yeah, so Sonia, do have some international stuff, but it is more paid hunts than anything. Let's see, Alaska. So we do have members in Alaska. So if everyone doesn't know, we have a member map. On this member map, you have to zoom in. So if you're zoomed out, it's going to say 15, 23, 400, whatever. The more you zoom in on that map, it's going to put everyone to their geographical locations. It's not going to be precise because we have to worry about everyone's safety too, but it is going to be their ping on their tower. It's going to be their closest geographical location of their ping or whatever. So make sure you look at that map. We do have members in Alaska. Great thing about having members in Alaska is you cannot hunt Alaska unless you are a resident or unless you are with a resident or a guide. So, which is a resident. So great thing about having Alaska members are, we don't have a ton. I think there's 2 or 3. I believe one of them's in the military. I don't think both of them are in the military. One of them's in the military up there, but great hunting experiences there. What other questions do we have here? Heck yeah, that's one of my dream hunts, and it can definitely be made happen. Dylan's definitely going to be a person to talk to. They have stag, they have goats, they have. Ooh, what else do they have? Crazy stuff, crazy looking stuff. International animals for sure. Let's see here. So that's everything that I have. We're gonna wrap this up. If anyone has any questions, let's get those in here real quick before we wrap up. But like I said, these can be great hunting experiences. They don't have to be a trade for a trade. If you really want to do that dream hunt and you really want to go kill black-tailed deer in California, and I hear it all the time. I don't have nothing to trade. I don't have private land. I can't. What if we don't get something? Start by talking to the person first. Hey man, everyone has something to offer. When I first started doing hunt leagues, I don't have private land. We have some private land that we can hunt and permission and stuff like that. We'll trade some sweat equity for, but we primarily hunt public, and I'm always honest with that. And I tell people our success rate's high, but there are times where people have came down and we didn't see anything. Brian came down 2 years in a row, and his second year he got his bird. First bird was just a little too weary for us part of the season, but they don't have to just be a trade for a trade. Talk to the people. Maybe you got good fishing. Maybe you have good, gosh, there's so much stuff. Somebody last night was talking about spear fishing, ice fishing. I know that's a big thing. I have a squirrel hunt that I'm getting someone going to do a squirrel hunt in Louisiana, a black squirrel hunt. Small game. Me and Chris Moody have been talking about doing a predator challenge in Oklahoma, and then he wants to come here and kill a hog. So you can do the traditional trade for a trade, but also think outside the box. I've got 5 WMAs within an hour from me. The state record was killed out of a WMA that's 15 minutes from me, 170 some inch buck, 150 some deer. Was just killed last week in a WMA that's 25 minutes from me. One of the biggest bucks that's been killed, I think, this year was killed in a WMA not far from me. Lots of good hunting in my area, and they're all on public land. And the great thing about that is that's something that I can offer. I can say, hey, I got 5 WMAs near me. Let's try to make it happen. I promise everyone that comes down, I'll hunt hard with you, whatever. I've had some people that we've killed stuff the first day, and they're like, let's just drink some bourbon and sit out here and enjoy the Florida weather on the dock or in the yard. Let's have a fire. Let's eat. I've done that too. Let's see here. I have private land, so that's great. A lot of people do have private land. I have some private land opportunities where we usually kill our hogs. I don't really take people to public land because you can't bait on public land. And when you're hog hunting down here, it's one of those things where you can go to public land and try to hunt them, or you can just kind of bait them up down here. There's so many hogs that that's the best way to get them in. So if you do have private land, that's always something great to offer people. Start out small too. If you don't want people running all over your property with guns, say, hey, only bow hunters allowed, or only crossbows, or let's shotgun only, or whatever. So we do have iguana hunting in Florida. I'm actually working on a meetup, Cervicide meetup / hunt link, doing python hunting in the summer and iguana hunting. I just want to work out the logistics. I like to make sure that I have all the information to present to people before I'm like, hey, let's plan this, because sometimes there's weird rules here. Like, for example, we don't have seasons like you guys have up north. We have each WMA is a different season. We have some WMAs that open in July. We have some WMAs that don't open till February for deer. So lots of crazy stuff. All right, Vivian, we'll see you later, bro. He's got to get out of here. But I am wrapping up. We will do one of those iguana hunts. I'm gonna learn more about it and go kill me some myself so I can get some good information there. Let's see here. Let me just make sure no one else has any questions. It looks good. All right, everyone. Well, thank y'all for coming. If you ever have any more questions about the hunt link, just reach out to me. I got y'all. If you ever have concerns or you're worried, I got y'all. I've done so many that if I haven't seen it yet, I've probably already seen it. And if I haven't, then I'll be able to help you piece it together. I've been on all kinds of hunts doing the Cervicide hunt link. I actually have never done a paid guided hunt, but I have hunted with people that are guides. So I guess you could, if we really want to nitpick. But the great thing about it is it's just that learning experience, everyone. Like I said, you can do all this stuff on your own, but I mean, it might take some people 15, 20 years to do this. Why not take advantage of this? $30 a month, take full advantage of it. I'm out. Thanks for the info. All right, Matt, we'll see you later, man. All right, Josh. All right, everyone. Well, we'll close it up. Appreciate everyone coming. Remember, last Wednesday of the month, Cervicide meetup. That's when we hang out. We're all going to talk, tell stories. I get to shut up for a minute and everyone else gets the floor. Really enjoy everyone being here, and we'll see you guys on the next one.